In the dim light of a sealed basement lab beneath an unmarked government facility in Langley, Virginia, a lone rhesus monkey stares into a glowing monitor. Electrodes are fused into the base of its skull. Outside, the night hums with the sound of crickets and wind. But inside this building, there's only silence, and a low electric whir of machines recording neural patterns. This isn't science fiction. It's the real beginning of one of the strangest, most secretive experiments ever funded by the United States government. The year is 1962. The CIA is in full panic mode. The Bay of Pigs invasion has failed. Russian nukes are heading toward Cuba. And in some forgotten wing of the agency, someone scribbles an idea on a napkin during a high-level briefing. What if we could train animals to spy? Not soldiers. Not informants, pigeons, dolphins, cats. What follows is decades of bizarre, deeply classified operations, each one weirder and more disturbing than the last. Most of it remains buried, but the pieces that have slipped out tell a story so unbelievable, so surreal, it feels like a twisted Cold War fever dream. It starts small. A single pigeon fitted with a microcamera, barely the size of a peanut, flown across Soviet airspace. The bird doesn't return, but the tech works. Encouraged, the CIA greenlights Project Tacana, a covert program designed to weaponize birds as aerial surveillance tools. Hundreds of pigeons are bred, trained, tested. Tiny harnesses are custom-built to hold cameras snug against their feathers. Handlers spend hours shaping the birds' flight paths using elaborate conditioning and visual markers. One declassified memo notes, birds can be used effectively against hard targets, especially those concealed from satellite imagery. But here's the twist. The birds weren't just for snapping photos. According to multiple internal documents, some were equipped with tiny cyanide capsules. The plan? If intercepted, the birds would self-terminate, leaving nothing behind but feathers and a smoking camera casing. Then, in 1967, the agency shifts its gaze to the sea. In San Diego, a group of marine biologists are recruited under the guise of national security research. What they really building is the Navy as Marine Mammal Program, CIA-funded, offshoot designed to turn bottlenose dolphins into underwater saboteurs. The animals are trained using a series of colored buzzers, underwater mazes, and simulated enemy targets. Within months, the dolphins are navigating minefields with terrifying precision. One declassified photo shows a dolphin with a harpoon mounted on its back. The caption reads simply, "Anti-diver platform, operational prototype." But the real breakthrough comes in 1970, in the cold waters off the coast of Vietnam. An enemy diver is captured with strange puncture wounds in his abdomen. No bullets, no blades. Just clean, circular trauma consistent with ... a dolphin strike. The military denies everything. By 1974, the CIA's animal programs have ballooned into something that defies logic. One particularly strange initiative, Project Acoustic Kitty, tries to surgically implant listening devices into living cats. The first subject is outfitted with a microphone in its ear, a transmitter in its rib cage, and an antenna woven into its tail. After months of conditioning, it's released into the field tasked with eavesdropping on a Soviet compound. It makes it 15 seconds. According to the declassified report, the cat walks into the street and is immediately hit by a taxi. The entire project, $20 million worth, is scrapped, officially at least. But there are whispers that the project didn't end, it simply moved. A second generation of acoustic cats, smaller and more agile, allegedly appear in Istanbul in 1981. Turkish police intercept a radio signal near the Soviet consulate. The source? A stray cat with a protruding wire under its fur. The U.S. Embassy claims it's a hoax. The animal disappears overnight. Then there's the human angle. In 1985, a low-level contractor for the Defense Intelligence Agency, goes missing in rural Montana. When found, he's dehydrated and incoherent. His car contains notebooks filled with sketches of birds, maps of Moscow, and repeated scrawls of the phrase, "They're watching through the eyes." At first, it's dismissed as a mental breakdown. But later that year, the New York Times receives an anonymous tip about neurologically augmented vision systems being tested on birds of prey. The story is killed before it ever goes to print. Editors say it didn't meet sourcing standards. Off the record, one of them confesses. 2 guys in suits showed up the next morning. It wasn't a polite visit. Through the 90s, as technology leaps forward, the need for animal spies seems obsolete. Satellites see everything. Drones get smaller. But the CIA keeps funding what it calls low detectability intelligence vectors. In plain English, animals that don't trigger alarms. A 2003 report from Baghdad details a mysterious flock of birds circling a power station minutes before it goes dark. Locals claim they saw metal glints beneath the feathers. American forces deny involvement. No footage exists. But days later, engineers find microscopic magnetic disruptors lodged in the facility's cooling systems. Devices too small to have been dropped by drone. They're feather-light and coated in avian dander. Fast forward to 2010. A shark attack off the coast of Egypt leaves a German tourist dead. The Egyptian government accuses Mossad of deploying a killer shark to sabotage tourism. The claim is widely mocked. But behind closed doors, U.S. intelligence agencies go silent. Why? Because a retired Navy analyst reveals that the U.S. had once outfitted tiger sharks with directional stimulators capable of steering the animals via pain-triggered conditioning. The project was shelved. Or so everyone thought. The same analyst mentions an even more chilling project, one that remains unconfirmed. A crow, trained to recognize human faces, allegedly used to trail targets across international borders. The theory was simple. Unlike humans, birds can memorize a face and follow it for miles. No need for cameras. The bird itself was the tracking system. Then, just when you think it couldn't get weirder comes 2016. A researcher at the University of Pennsylvania leaks a video showing a rat navigating a miniature maze while wearing a head-mounted chip. The rat turns left, stops, then reverses, all without external cues. The lab insists it's part of a neuroscience study. By 2019, rumors begin surfacing online of glowing foxes spotted in Iran. Radioactive, tagged, strangely unafraid of humans. Iranian authorities blame espionage. The Western press laughs it off. But satellite images taken weeks later show movement patterns through restricted zones. The paths match known smuggling routes under CIA surveillance. What this really means is, we don't know. How many programs remain active? How many animals walk, fly, or swim among us? Recording, watching, obeying triggers they don't understand. No one at Langley will say a word. Every freedom of information request hits a dead wall. But the signs, if you're watching, are there. A pelican spotted circling a U.S. embassy in Caracas for 3 days straight. A squirrel found with a microprocessor lodged in its abdomen near a nuclear base in Utah. A dog that behaves erratically at a Russian checkpoint, only to vanish hours later. And somewhere, deep underground, a rhesus monkey blinks into the glare of a screen. A signal pulses in its brain, and far away someone's secret just got watched. Because sometimes, the eyes in the sky have feathers, and sometimes they purr, and sometimes they're watching you. And as the years pass, the story of the CIA's animal spies begins to fade into the realm of conspiracy theory. Most people dismiss it as the stuff of urban legends, whispered among the fringes of espionage enthusiasts, unsubstantiated and far too strange to be believed. But then, in 2021, a breakthrough. A former government contractor, A man who had once been deeply involved in animal training programs suddenly steps forward. His name is John Turner, and his claims are chilling. "I wasn't supposed to be here," Turner admits in a rare interview, his voice crackling through the airwaves. "I was part of something bigger than I understood at the time. But I'm done keeping secrets. I used everything. Every animal. The birds, the dolphins, even the bees. And I know what you've been told, that the programs were shut down. But that's a lie. They never stopped." At first, no one believes him. After all, the man sounds like a voice from another time, the sort of whistleblower who appears after decades of silence. But then Turner provides evidence, photographs, videos, and files that even the most skeptical intelligence community insiders can't easily dismiss. One image shows a herd of cattle, their bodies fitted with hidden GPS trackers, in an operation that took place deep in the mountains of Afghanistan. The trackers were used to follow enemy movements along remote roads. Turner claims the project was so classified that even the soldiers in the field didn't know the cows they were herding were part of an elaborate surveillance network. Then comes the most disturbing revelation. Turner uncovers files detailing an operation in the early 2000s involving migratory birds that were used as mobile listening posts. The birds, some of them as far as thousands of miles from home, were implanted with tracking devices and small, high-frequency microphones. These devices were so sensitive that they could record conversations even inside the walls of enemy compounds. The plan was simple. Let the birds fly. Let them migrate, recording every whisper, every secret, every conversation. At first, it was just a few birds, but the program expanded. By the time Turner left the agency in 2010, hundreds of thousands of animals, birds, bees, even squirrels, had been equipped with covert surveillance technology, all without their knowledge or the knowledge of the people who lived among them. And then, just when you think the depths of the CIA's animal espionage program are bottomless, a bombshell drops. In 2023, a completely unexpected source reveals that the animal spy program has evolved. Now, it's not just about birds and mammals. Now there's something far more sophisticated, something far more alarming. And the technology has advanced to such an extent that it's no longer just limited to creatures with a biological nervous system. The CIA is now exploring ways to use artificial intelligence in tandem with animal instincts. A report leaks from a high-tech laboratory in Silicon Valley. It discusses the use of biohacked insects, specifically genetically engineered mosquitoes, rigged with AI-powered neural networks. These creatures, bred to track specific scents or signals, could be deployed to gather intelligence over vast distances, undetectable by human means. Imagine it, a swarm of genetically modified mosquitoes buzzing through a crowded city, some of them equipped with tiny cameras that no one would ever notice, some with transmitters that pick up frequencies. They float unnoticed between people, listening, watching, recording. They could slip through border control checkpoints, land in enemy bunkers, or even land on your neck without you ever feeling them. Incredibly precise and nearly impossible to trace. As terrifying as that may sound, these revelations are only part of the bigger picture. The next chapter in this shadowy world seems to be one where the line between the animal kingdom and technological espionage blurs entirely. By the time we reach 2025, social media platforms are buzzing with reports of strange animal behaviors. People start noticing odd patterns, pigeons flying in tight formations around government buildings, squirrels standing motionless for minutes at a time, dogs barking incessantly near sensitive military sites. At first, it's dismissed as coincidence or overactive imagination. But there's something undeniably strange happening. Then, on a quiet morning in March of that year, a massive power outage strikes the eastern seaboard. No one can pinpoint the cause. The grid fails, and experts scramble for an explanation. The only clue? A series of bizarre animal sightings across the region. Mysterious packs of raccoons seen near power stations. Flocks of crows lingering around communication towers. Even a pair of foxes darting through security perimeters at a nuclear facility. It's not long before conspiracy theories start to spread. Are these the same animals once part of covert government operations, now being used in a far more covert way? Could they be performing a type of coordinated sabotage? A weaponized swarm of nature itself? Somewhere, deep in a labyrinth of classified files, buried beneath the codes of modern warfare, lies the truth. Perhaps the animals we see every day, the pigeons perched on ledges, the squirrels darting through city parks, even the household pets we love, are still carrying out secret missions, unbeknownst to anyone but those pulling the strings from the shadows. And as governments scramble to explain the odd animal behaviors and the increasing number of reports of drones misfiring or GPS signals failing in remote locations, they're faced with the terrifying possibility. What if the animals, perhaps, even the technology that's been used to control them, have evolved beyond human oversight? But here's the thing. The real mystery isn't just in what we know about these programs. It's in the things we'll never understand. How much of it is still out there, hidden in plain sight, operating under a veil of secrecy that no one, not even the most well-trained experts, can fully comprehend. The truth is, we'll never fully know the scope of the CIA's animal spies. We won't know how deep their roots have spread into every corner of the world. How many eyes and ears are silently watching us as we go about our daily lives. For all we know, the next time we look out the window, we may just catch a glimpse of something watching us back. A bird, a dog, a squirrel. And when we turn our attention elsewhere, it will vanish, like shadows, into the night. After all, they were never meant to be seen. They were always meant to be watching, always hidden, always waiting. So remember, the next time you see a bird on the windowsill or a cat on the sidewalk, ask yourself, is it really just an animal? Or is it something far, far more? Because sometimes, the creatures that live among us aren't just part of the world we see. Sometimes, they're a part of a world we were never meant to know. And one day, the truth might just be revealed. When the last shadow falls,